defined by many prophetic voices and intercessors and people that you talk to. It has to do with sort of like a micro church level, sort of like a apostolic hub, where people are being trained because apostolic leaders and prophetic leaders recognize what's in this person and helps them to develop it, so that the end goal is that that person is thrust into the area where they have such great passion for. I'll share with you later about the passion that has been awakened in me, because I personally have been through a lot of what I would say a pivotal moments of transition that have brought me to the place to where I would say right now I'm in a convergence season of my life. And I'll share a little bit about that later on. But it is obvious to us that not only in the United States of America, but in our own, in this particular state of California, where we are, is that we have work to do on the micro sense. But we can do this. We can do this. And I want to draw from another well-known figure in the Bible. His name is Caleb. And Caleb had an uncompromised perspective of understanding the times and what needed to be done in their particular culture back then, just like we do. Caleb said in Numbers 13:30-32, he said, we can do this. While it seems like when you look at all the spheres of influence in just this, in our region alone, I'm going to narrow it down to this micro level. When we look at all the spheres of influence, we have the city council here. We have, in terms of government, we have areas of arts and entertainment. We have areas of the education, the schools. We have areas of influence that have to do with media. We have areas of influence that have to do so much with family matters. Of course, the big one. We have challenges in every sphere of influence that makes up not only this nation, but every nation. You know that very well. And it seems like at many times that we're outnumbered. Just like back then when the report came back, that, oh boy, there's giants in the land, that kind of thing. Right. But Caleb was one of them that said, hey, we can do this. And he said in Numbers 13:32, Caleb quieted the people before Moses and said, let us go up at once and occupy it, for we are well able to overcome it. And if there's anything I want to encourage listeners today, and even myself, I'm getting all excited here as I talk about this, is that we can do it. Yes. I want to persuade people to understand that we can do it, all right? Because we stand from a place of victory, not for victory. We already have. We need to occupy these areas, starting at the micro level of God's calling in our own experience. So the apostolic hubs then is meant to do that, unlike the old model, where mainly, we were like, well, it's us, and we want the culture to come to church. And, the Great Commission literally says, go ye into all the culture. The old model was, we're going to build churches and do all this kind of stuff and have everybody come to us. But that obviously it failed. It didn't work. If it was supposed to work, it would have worked. It doesn't work. Correct. So the Lord is wanting to train and thrust people into culture and make the difference, because as we can see, what we're facing now in current cultural war is something that is not what Jesus said he was building the church to do. He said, I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. And so there is a lot of things that God is doing, but you're not going to be able to measure it in an event. It's a process. Okay. Does that make sense? It's a process. Amen. Yeah.
It's definitely a process.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it definitely is a process, and I'm glad that you mentioned, because it is what God is doing is a reformation.